have here the ambassador of Pakistan. It's a pleasure to meet you. How far has Pakistan come in terms of reaching the Millennium Development Goals, and what challenges still remain, and what measures need to be done to continue to reach those goals?
We've tried hard to sort of meet the Millennium Development Goals. We've been able to meet not all of them because we've had other challenges. We've lived through a region. We live in a region where there's a war next door in Afghanistan, which has greatly impeded our development goals as such. But there is a commitment on the part of the people of Pakistan and the commitment on the part of the government of Pakistan to ensure that we move forward in this way, and that when the Sustainable Development Goals come our way, we will be able to reach the targets that will be set in those goals.
So, and then according to the Ministry of Education and the World Economic Forum, 42% of women older than 15 years old are literate, whereas 67% of men can read. So what are some of the reasons so many of Pakistan's women do not have access to education, and what can be done?
They have access to education, but there are social cultural reasons because of which they don't go to schools, and they're school dropouts. There is a huge, there is an effort that's being made by all the 4 provinces of Pakistan to ensure that more and more women and girls go to school, and there is obviously clearly an understanding by women themselves now that the way forward is by registering in schools, by staying in schools, because the thing is that they do get registered in schools, but they do not follow through the whole process. Madrasa is a system of education that existed in the Islamic world for hundreds of years. It's not a new thing. Madrasa basically means a place of learning. So there were madrasas and in Pakistan, the majority of the madrasas give a certain service to people, to young children whose families are not economically well endowed, to be able to send them to school as such. And therefore, these madrasas basically give them education. They give them food and clothing, and they give them boarding. So they fill in a gap where the government is unable to do so.
About the social position of women there are still lots of problems, such as forced marriage of very young girls and things like this. So do you think that this is a problem that can be solved, and how can the government help those girls to fight this problem?
The problem of forced marriage is not that prevalent, I think, in Pakistan as much as it's perhaps where Pakistanis live in communities outside. In Pakistan, education is the way out of any practices which are old and which need to be replaced.
So there are a lot of studies that show that the amount of money allocated to education greatly increased literacy rates. And according to the CIA World Factbook, only 2.1% of Pakistan's GDP goes to education expenditures. Can you help explain how this money is allocated? And if it's not enough, how can we increase this number?
Well, you see, the thing is that the allocation may be small from the government, but it has to be divided into what is allocated to primary education, secondary education, and then higher education. Higher education has more allocation, and obviously the government is trying. We are going through difficult economic times. And therefore there is an effort by government to encourage the private sector to step in as well. But yes, there is a need to enhance the budget for the education sector.